Jason Momoa is so topless in that movie. And that's the appeal for women. And I can guarantee a housemate Tash loved the shit out of that because of Jason Momoa mainly. Like, and she's a DC fan. And
she's, a massive DC fan, just like me.
Jason Momoa, I can guarantee, is probably 60 to 70% of the reason why she really went and saw that movie. Because he's a sexy man. He's a beast of a man. And yeah, he was basically topless the whole movie. But it's set up that way.
To be fair, when he was cast as Aquaman, like in my head, I was trying to think of some like famous ginger, blonde, redhead, someone who could like play the role.
I don't think.
And then when they announced Jason Momoa was playing, I was like, yeah, actually, you know what? That kind of makes sense.
Dude, that could work. Like, I could not imagine some pasty blonde fudge dressed up. I didn't swear.
Pasty blonde fudge.
Some pasty blonde fudge to play the live action from the comic book. I couldn't. It would look weird because, especially within the cartoons and the comic books, just Aquaman himself just seems like this most comical thing, and you're like, really him? But I always liked Aquaman. I was like, yeah, that's F yeah.
I think that's one of the I think that's one of the biggest appeals that actually brought this figure up so high is because of Jason Momoa, because of his charisma. He's not.
He's a man. He's the people's man.
In this movie, I don't think he was a great actor. I think that he played Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry. Like it's
like when The Rock goes and plays movies.
A character. He's not playing the character. He's playing The Rock.
The Rock is an amputee that's saving a tower.
Yeah.
The Rock is a zoologist that stops giant beasts.
The Rock is a policeman who chases people in fast cars.
The Rock is the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, like
it's just it's
everything.
Not,
yeah, and that's
but
sort
with
of
Jason
similar
Momoa,
to Jason
it felt
Momoa.
different though.
But the thing is, like, Jason Momoa brings that to the role, and I think it's to its benefit because of how much of the butt of a joke Aquaman was.
Yeah.
Like you ask any comic book reader and they're like, oh, Aquaman is the one who gets shat on. I'm going to start throwing numbers at you, so you better get ready to catch.
I'm bad with numbers.
So, Aquaman's budget, $160 million, and its global box office, $1 billion.
Has it made $1 billion?
Yes. While I was preparing this podcast, actually, it was at $980 million. And then literally today, it broke the $1 billion over the weekend. That's how much of an impact Aquaman, and he's the butt of all jokes of superheroes. Here's to put this in perspective, right? Batman vs. Superman's budget was $250 million. So it's about $90 million more than Aquaman. It only made $870 million globally. I say only, but that's Batman and Superman.
That was the appeal for that. That's why a lot of people would have come in.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, heck, I was looking forward to it. My top two favorite superheroes versing against each other. And I'm a Man of Steel apologist as well. I actually kind of liked Man of Steel. But
I fell asleep.
He genuinely did fall asleep.
I was trying to be a really nice friend and watch it for Ben, and I was just like, yeah, Ben, I'm going to be interested in stuff Ben's interested in and be a good friend, and I fell asleep.
Here's the contrast. You and Aquaman, you're like, oh, nice colors. You and Man of Steel is like...
I didn't even make it to the 9/11 part, like where they knock down all the buildings. I just couldn't.
The funniest thing is, like, Jason Momoa does it for you. Henry Cavill just sends you straight to sleep. No, he's a comforter. Look. Henry Cavill is a nice man. He's a very comforting man.
It's not that. There's nothing wrong with him playing Superman. I'm sure if I pushed through and watched the movie, maybe I was tired that day. I'll give the movie that. I was probably tired that day. No offense to the movie. But same with Watchmen. I think I fell asleep with that as well. Maybe it's, I don't know. They were just slow. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what it is. I'll rewatch them, I swear. I promise one day.
But with the whole like DC movies anyway, it's just interesting. I'm going to throw some more numbers at you. So Wonder Woman's budget is $10 million less than Aquaman, so $150 million. And globally it made $820 million. Right? Mm-hmm. And that was a
good movie. Wonder Woman was really good.
Female-led superhero movie. Big budget female-led superhero movie. Compare that to Justice League, which is supposedly the biggest movie in the DC EU. Mm-hmm. That was $300 million budget. Global box office, $660 million.
That would piss a lot of CEOs off. I mean, executive producers off.
Like, that just scrapes by. Mm-hmm. And that's comparative to BVS that had $50 million less and made just over $200 million.
And Man of Steel, that was just over half made back.
Man of Steel, I think they expected it to be that less.
Yeah.
But like, you look at the comparisons of like that's Superman. All right, you tell them, oh yeah, new Superman movie's coming out. People are going to come.
Yeah.
Right. And then you look through all these like ones.
Most of them made back half.
Yeah, most of them made back like a decent amount.
Doubled it.
I forgot to put Suicide Squad in here, but
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
That's such a forgettable movie.
Yes.
I remember how I was just like, no, I prefer this over Batman v Superman. I much prefer Batman v Superman over this, and Batman v Superman is boring as f. I think this is the bigger proof of like you just look at the two team up movies comparatively, how much they made to Aquaman and Wonder Woman being outliers. Like you like it just makes you like you look at MCU, right? They took Iron Man, Captain America, they made them these franchises that were genuinely worth something. You look at that and you think like, oh, outliers must be perfect. And it like to an executive, they'd just be like, oh, what's an unknown superhero? Let's get him a film. But a contrary point to that, and it's one of the funniest things that I got when I was
just before you make that point, I wanted like you look at this and for some reason, some beautiful reason, like Wonder Woman made so much more money in comparison to the budget.
Oh yeah,
and same with Aquaman, and I feel like they've made back a lot more, and they were so popular to go see is because it's a different flavor. It's not something we've been pumped down our throats for years, like reboots of Superman, reboots of Batman. Aquaman and Wonder Woman were just something different, and it was beautiful and it was good and it was done well, and they took a risk on that by let's do the Wonder Woman thing, but like really just sort of embrace it and put that creative spin on it and let the director do its thing with it.
I think it's also because
same with Aquaman, Jason Wan, like he did a really good job. He's usually a horror guy, but like when he took his hands on this, I was like,
you mean James Wan? James
Wan, that's the one I meant. What'd I say?
Jason Momoa is the horror guy. Jason Momoa is
but like it's with
Saw.
But with it was like it was a different take on it, and I was expecting like an R-rated Aquaman. I was like, this will be exciting. This will be aggressive. I could get into this. And then I got this fun movie. It was a bit long, but it was just fun. It was like a cross between Uncharted and
but hey, it didn't make you fall asleep.
No, it didn't make me. I was awake the whole way and I was enjoying it. I was like, oh, what's next? And sometimes you get to certain points, you're like, ugh. But it was fun. I enjoyed watching it because it was different.
I feel like it keeps you engaged. And the director sort of
went with a comedy thing and actually I didn't feel so serious.
I feel like it keeps you engaged, and it's definitely like it's because whoever put the effort into this film actually put heart into it. And it's the same with Wonder Woman. You watch Wonder Woman and you can see that Patty Jenkins is the director, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. You can tell that like when she got the go ahead to do Wonder Woman, she was like, right, clapped her hands and go, we're doing this shit. This is how we're doing it. We're doing this, and this. If we can't do it that way, I've got one backup plan, but this is the way that we go.
Yeah.
And like you can tell that she put heart into it. And that's what comparatively, you look at like the Russo brothers when they do Infinity War, when they did Winter Soldier, Civil War, that has heart. And that's what makes
And they took their time. No one rushed those.
Exactly. And so you look at, it's definitely not because it's some like fresh superhero because, and drum roll please. Green Lantern's budget had $200 million, more than Aquaman and Wonder Woman, not combined, just like each. It made $220 million globally back.
It barely made back 20 grand, like 20 million.
Barely went over the budget.
So they like with what I said earlier before about the different flavor, the Aquaman and the Wonder Woman. Yeah, the thirst is there. People want something different, right? And then the anomaly with that, the difference between the new flavor with the Green Lantern movie, it was rushed.
It's not that it felt rushed. It's more that it just felt like it wasn't planned. Like someone was like, all right, what do we do next? I suppose we could get this guy back in. And the thought behind it wasn't not genuine. I think it was more like because you look at it like the script itself. It wasn't even like when Ryan Reynolds was cast, there was no script. As they were filming, they were writing the script.
Because with that, right, there was a different mindset. There's a five-year difference, and I feel like there was a different mindset with DC movies. They were like, oh, we need something crazy, something fun. All right, this is something different. Let's do that. Like, all right, Batman's doing so well. We can do anything. We can get away with it. All right, what are we going to do? Ryan Reynolds, he's approachable. People love him. Christian Bale, people love him. That worked for Batman. We got him on. But the difference is, I think there was a lot of executives coming in and just going, we need this, it needs to be done this way, rushing it, as well as no script. It was like, we need a movie. Cast him. He'll be funny. He'll be great. Do it. as you were saying, they were writing the script. I don't know. Please take the mantle soon. But like that's the difference. I feel like is because with the Wonder Woman and Aquaman, there was passion put into that. You know, I'm sure they had something written before they cast it.
Oh yeah, the scripts were all prepared and everything. Green Lantern was just a hot mess.
Because I'm pretty
that's
sure
all it was. It was just a
production. Patty Jenkins came to them with the script for Wonder Woman. And was
I'm pretty sure she had her mindset on how this shit was going to.
That's the difference.
So that's what made Wonder Woman. It wasn't brilliant.
It wasn't a cart in front of the horse situation. It was like and
it's very much similar to. Similar underdogs as Black Panther, which had a $200 million budget, so over Aquaman's and Wonder Woman's budget.
And again, another,
and that made $1.35 billion.
And that's another thing from a different flavor. That's something different. There's the niche, the market's out there, people want it,
and that also has the passion behind it of the African American community because of the message behind it of like the actors, the director, the producers, all of them being from that background. They knew how the characters had to feel. They knew what emotion they wanted to portray in it. And look, you can gripe about the end fight between T'Challa and
that looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene,
right? But you've got to admit that it's still an emotional scene when he takes him out to that cliff.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Look, we can help. We can heal you. You'll be fine." And dude's like, "My people didn't get that when they were jumping off boats."
Yeah,
and that's like when the slavers were bringing the boats into America, they were literally forcing them off the boats when slavery was deemed illegal to not be arrested for slavery.
Yeah,
and so like the amount of like passion and the intent and just the emotion that they were packing behind that film, you look at it. We're going off global here, but if you go off the domestic market, Black Panther actually made more than Infinity War domestically. Black Panther made $700 million domestically, and Infinity War made $678 million. And that's with the different budget of it's not released the budget yet for Infinity War, but it was approximately $315 to $400 million compared to Black Panther. That's almost double Black Panther's budget, and it's hitting up high. Mind you, Infinity War did make $2 billion globally, but domestically, that's a big hit, and that's a big percentage-wise
difference between
That's a big message compared to if you half any budget like that, they're not gonna make those numbers. Stuff like that makes you appreciate what people bring to the table when it comes to those sort of stuff. If you'd like to subscribe, click here. If you'd like to check out any of the other Case Mail Service videos, click here. And I don't know, Ethan will put something else somewhere. Just have a guess where.